Hello, welcome to the Kansas City Zoo. My name is Jessica and this is
Alyssa.
and we are so excited for you all to be joining us today on our second Zoosday at the Kansas City Zoo. Now, what is Zoosday? Well, really, we took Tuesday and put zoo in front of it because we're creative here at the zoo. But today we'll be learning about some very special things. Now, if you joined us for the last segment, we were talking about what it takes to be a zookeeper. This time, we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We're going to be exploring exhibits or the homes where the animals that live at the zoo stay. And so we are really excited to get started. Now, if you didn't get a chance to see our episode last time, you still can sign up for that. We would love to have you join in. And you don't need to have seen last time's in order to enjoy today. We will help keep you going and fill you in on lots of fun stuff that's going to be happening. But again, welcome to the zoo. We are currently in our education building in our library of biofacts, which are special animal-related items that help us to teach. And that's what we're going to get started with right now. Alyssa, would you like to share with us what we're going to learn today?
I would love to share that with you, but first, I think we should tell them that we are smiling underneath these masks. Now, we are in a time where you don't really get to see our faces, but know that we are so happy to be here with you today, and there are smiles everywhere. So today, we are going to get started examining those exhibits. And what do we mean? So think about this. You're going and you're walking into the zoo, and you spot the polar bear exhibit. And you can see that polar bear. But imagine not being able to see that polar bear. Oh, that is so sad. And when we see that polar bear, it makes our hearts really full and happy, and we just know that that animal is healthy, happy, and safe. But how does it get that way? So let's go over to our whiteboard and talk about that a little bit. So when we are looking at an exhibit, or when they are going to make an exhibit, there are so many things that need to happen. One of the things is the food. What kind of food would our animals be eating out in the wild, and how can we make that as close to what they would eat out in the wild here in that exhibit? They also need some water. Now, every living thing needs water, and they are no different because they are alive and they're going to need some water. But not only do they need to drink water, they might need water to swim in. They might need water to mist off in. They might need some water just to kind of hang out in, just so they can relax. Now, then we're talking about some shelter. Now, out in the wild, do we have an animal that likes to take shelter in a tree? Do we have an animal that likes to burrow or get way underground? Now, you have a shelter, and that's your home, and that's how you stay safe if the weather's bad. But they also have to make sure that they are safe from predators. Now, also, we have space right here. When you're looking at an exhibit and you have an animal in there, do they have enough space to move around? If you had a tiny dart frog, not that we're going to talk about dart frogs, but if you had a tiny dart frog, would you need to put that dart frog in a huge polar bear space? Probably not. But you want to make sure that they have enough space to be happy, to be healthy, to be safe. And also, do they want to be with other animals? Or do they not want to be with other animals? That is something we need to talk about too. You like probably being around other people, and some animals like being around other animals. So the object is, as we are examining these exhibits, we want to take a look at how they would act out in the wild. That's a natural behavior. Bring that into the exhibit. And also how they would live and in what type of habitat they would live out in the wild, and try to bring that into that exhibit as well. And so today we're actually going to take a look at some animal ambassadors, and we're going to talk about the things that they need in their exhibit to make them happy, healthy, and very safe. What do you think, Jessica?
Wonderful. That sounds great to me. Now, Alyssa, some of these items you mentioned are all things that I need in my own home.
Yes.
That's kind of amazing that the animals need the same things we do.
It's true. I need food.
I do
Jessica,
too.
do you?
I love to eat. It's one of my favorite things to do.
I do too. Now, Jessica, I am alive, and I know you are too, and you guys are as well. Do you need water?
I absolutely need water to drink, but I also like to go play in water in the sprinkler and even take a shower or a bath.
All right, well, fantastic. And also, we talked about a little bit, you have a home as well.
I do. It's where I get my shelter. Keeps me nice and safe from the weather and other animals.
That's fantastic. We want to be safe from those other animals out there, right? Okay, and space. Jessica, some people like to be around a lot of people, and some, well, it's okay. Some do not. And you have a space where you like to be around.
I do. All of my space helps keep me safe.
All right.
Wonderful.
That is awesome. Well, Jessica, do you think we need a little bit of something else before we get started?
I think we do. I think we need to get ready to learn.
I do too. Shall we?
Yes.
All right. Ta-da! Well, what do you think? I think since we're examining exhibits, we're going to be zookeepers and master builders. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a great plan. Now let's go ahead and meet our first animal ambassador. This is an animal that lives at the zoo, but its job is to help us learn. Now he is very excited to meet everybody today, and we're going to get him set up. He's going to actually hang out right here on this perch. That might give you a clue as to what kind of animal he is.
Hi, friend.
All right. Now this handsome man right here is named Buddy. And Buddy happens to be a double yellow-headed Amazon parrot, which is a big fancy name that means that he's a parrot that lives in the Amazon rainforest out in the wild. Now Buddy really loves living here at the zoo, and he needs some special things in his exhibit or home to keep him happy, healthy, and safe. Now, I know we talked about how we both love to eat food, Alyssa.
We do.
Do you think that Buddy likes to eat hamburgers?
You know, I don't think so. But Jessica, what if he's close to a drive-in? Do you think he'd want to drive right in and get some pizza?
Well, maybe it was a fly-in that he could fly in for some food.
That's a good one.
But Buddy here does not enjoy pizza or hamburgers. He is an animal that loves to eat fruits and vegetables out in the wild. And one of his favorite things are special treats like seeds. Right now he's getting a sunflower seed. And he has a very special beak he can use to open that seed, take the shell out, and get at the yummy nut on the inside. If you look at Buddy's face, you can see he has a large beak, which is his mouth. Now his beak is very strong and perfectly designed for eating the food he eats. Alyssa, do you think that Buddy is able to use a knife and fork to eat his food like we do?
Well, I'm not really sure. I don't think so. I don't think he calls mom and dad and says, hey, can I get some help here? I need some silverware, everybody.
You're right. Buddy has to use what's on his body in order to get his food. So that lovely curved beak works a lot like an ice cream scoop. It's able to reach into a nice piece of fruit and scoop out a chunk that he can chew on. Now, he also has very special feet that have 2 toes in the front and 2 in the back and work to help him hang on to the branch where he's sitting. So he is an animal that loves to spend time high in the trees, which is where the fruit he's eating is grown. So Alyssa, do you think that we could find some things to build Buddy an exhibit so that he can be comfortable here at the zoo?
Well, Miss Jessica, I sure do, and perhaps I should go over to this fabulous chart and we should fill it out together. What do you guys think? Are you ready to build an exhibit for Buddy? Okay, let's get started. So Jessica mentioned that our friend comes from a place that has a lot of good fruit and has a beautiful beak for cracking open some nuts. So Jessica, how about for food, we give our friend some nice big fruits and we can put some out in a bowl, but then we can also also hang some to make our friend happy and really have to work like they're out in the wild to get that fruit. What do you think?
Well, I think the fruit sounds great, but why are we hanging it for him?
Well, I think we should hang it for him because that is something that will give him that feeling like he's flying to a tree and getting some of his other fruit.
Oh, that sounds
natural
wonderful.
behavior. What do you think?
That sounds great. I think he'll
Right.
really enjoy having a little more challenge in order to get his food.
Great.
Now, every time I eat a snack, I get thirsty.
Oh,
And I'm pretty sure Buddy is the same way. He loves to drink water, but he also likes to do some other fun things with water. Do you think we could put some water in his exhibit?
I have an idea.
Okay.
Wait right there. Okay. All right, so wait for it. How about, Buddy, we give you some water, and we can put some water in there for you to drink. But not only that, guess what, Buddy? We'll give you a bath that you can bathe in. And maybe we'll mist you a little bit so you can have and feel that water in your feathers and that oh so glorious feeling that you would have if it was raining outside.
That
How about
sounds
that?
perfect.
Okay.
His Buddy is an animal that is covered in feathers. And in order to keep his feathers healthy so that he can fly, he has to be able to keep them clean. And water is one of the ways that he does that.
That's-
So bathing is one of his favorite things to do.
Awesome. That is great.
Great. So we've got his food and we've got his water, but what about shelter? I mean, he's going to need some place to get out of the wind, and he certainly doesn't like the snow.
I have something. It's something that grows really tall,
Okay.
has branches, and actually our friend might camouflage in it. So that's a big word, Miss
That is a
Jessica.
big word.
What if we gave Buddy some trees or some branches to climb on? What do you think? Would that make you a happy bird?
That would make him a very happy bird. He loves to be able to climb.
Okay. So, but here's my question. He likes to be able to climb and he likes to hang out, but is he hanging out? Does he need friends? What do you think?
Buddy definitely needs friends. Parrots like this love to spend time with other parrots. It helps them to search for food together. It also helps them to stay safe because more eyes watching out for danger makes sure that you know everything that's going on around you. So Buddy here would love to have some friends to live with.
Okay, well, fantastic. I have just the idea. Ta-da! We moved in another double yellow-headed Amazon parrot. What do you think?
I think that sounds perfect.
All
Those
right.
look like they would be great friends for Buddy.
I think so. And space-wise, that way we have some nice space. We have trees. We have friends. We have water. We get misted. We have lots of wonderful food. And look at that. Your exhibit, my friend, is built. That was a hammer in case anybody didn't know. All right.
Well, that sounds great. I think Buddy absolutely loves it. He looks very excited, don't you? That's right. Now, Buddy
Yay.
can't wait to live in this enclosure at the zoo. It's got everything he needs. It's got his favorite foods. It's got water to drink and bathe in. It's got a shelter to keep him safe. And it has space with friends. Sounds like the perfect setup.
Yay! Hooray, Buddy!
Now, we found the perfect exhibit for Buddy, but I have some other friends who would love to find a home made just for them too.
Oh, wow, everybody. So, we just saw an animal that has 2 wings, is covered in feathers, has hollow bones, so he can fly really high. And now, we're going to meet a friend who has no wings at all, is not flying, but is on the ground and is covered in scales, which leads me to believe that the food, the water, the shelter, and the space that this animal might need is quite a bit different. And while she's getting it out, think. Put your thinking caps on. What do you think it could be? Oh, here she comes.
All right, Miss Alyssa. Now this friend, as you can see, is very different from Buddy. This, you guessed it, is a snake. She is a special type of snake called a Woma python. And she actually comes all the way from Australia,
Wow,
which is
today.
very far away from us. Now, you see, she does not have feathers all over her body, and she doesn't have a big beak for her mouth. So she's going to need some different things in order to keep her happy and healthy here at the zoo.
Yes.
Now, for starters, just like everybody, she loves to eat, but she's not eating fruits and vegetables like the parrot. Instead, she loves to eat meat. Now, we talked about hamburgers earlier, but that's not her favorite food. She really likes mice. Alyssa, do you like to eat mice?
You know, I'm going to say that's a clear no. That says a firm no on that one, yes.
I don't enjoy it either, but that's one of her favorite snacks. Now, in order to find mice to eat, she has to be very patient. Because if you walk into your backyard, you'll see lots of bugs running around. Or if you go to the park, you might see a squirrel or a couple birds. But in order to find a mouse, you'd have to wait quite a long time. So she has learned how to take advantage of when she finds food. If she is able to find and capture a mouse, she's going to go ahead and eat it. But she doesn't have to eat again for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
That's right. No breakfast, no lunch, no dinner, no snacks for 2 whole weeks. So she has very different food needs from the parrot. Now, she has a lovely long body that stretches way out. And her long body helps her find those mice.
Oh.
Because a lot of times, mice are going to live in tunnels underground.
Oh.
But do you think that she builds those tunnels herself? She doesn't have claws to dig with. She doesn't have a big nose to root around with. So what she likes to do is find a tunnel made by another animal and go ahead and share that home with them.
Wow.
And then when she runs across a mouse or maybe even a lizard, that's going to be her treat for the day. Now for water, she actually lives in the desert and doesn't need a lot of water.
Really?
So she might need a little bit to drink every now and then when it rains and she can find a puddle. But she doesn't like to take a lot of baths like the bird does.
Oh.
But she certainly needs shelter. Living in the desert can get really hot outside. And so that burrow underground is going to be nice and cool in that tunnel to help make sure she doesn't get too hot. And so Alyssa, do you think we can find some things that would meet her needs?
You know, I think we can. Now, as an expert builder, I have to put my thinking cap on, and I think we can do this. Do you like mice at home? I'll tell you what, it's not on my menu du jour, however, and it's not on yours, right? But it is on our friends, the Woma. Now, look at this. Why don't we go ahead and come over to our handy-dandy whiteboard and fill it in for our Woma. This is the Woma column. And so it looks like we're going to put some mice into that exhibit so they can eat it, all right?
Yum, yum.
And then we'll have some water. So our friend can, just kind of hang out in some water if need be, right?
Sure,
But
a
just
nice
have
small
little
puddle
bit.
to drink out of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To create some humidity for some warmth as well.
Perfect.
Now, here we go. Let's go ahead and for some shelter, our friend is going to have a place where they can burrow or get into a cave. Does that sound great?
Oh, that sounds perfect.
That way you can hide if you want to. And also, we'll give you some light so you can have a little bit of warmth because our friend is cold-blooded, which means when it's warm, our friend is warm, and when it's cold, our friend is cold. Last but certainly not least, let's give this friend some room to slither around, to catch some of those animals. How about that?
That sounds perfect.
What if we threw some rocks in there just for fun?
She loves to
Fantastic.
slither over rocks.
All right.
Alyssa, I think that sounds like a great exhibit for our friend the Woma Python. I think she's going to be very happy there.
Well, I am so glad because you really have to do your research on these animals before you decide you're going to build the perfect exhibit to keep them healthy, happy, and safe.
Absolutely. Now, we did a great job with our first 2 animals, but there's one more I'd like you to meet.
Really?
This one might be a little tougher, but I think you can do it. You're a good builder.
Oh, I thank you so much for those kind words. I really need to think about this. Now, my friends, I have been just really racking my brains building an exhibit for an animal that flies and has 2 wings, is covered in feathers, the bird, the double yellow-headed Amazon parrot. And then I was really having to put my thinking cap on and take a look at what a llama would need, all the way down from Australia, covered in scales, slithering around, really wanting to eat lots of good, yummy mice. But now my friend is coming out that actually has moist skin, that likes to have a little bit of water and live on land as well. You know, and I've seen a lot of this going on. Boing, boing, and might need some room to do a little hopping.
That's right, Alyssa. Now, this friend that we're going to meet today is the tiniest friend we have with us. And he is hanging out in this little enclosure here because that's like his car seat. It's what he travels in. This enclosure helps make sure that his skin stays nice and wet and keeps him healthy. As you can see, he is a type of frog called a blue poison dart frog. Now, it's called blue poison dart frog because that's right, his skin is blue. He is an animal that would love to live somewhere with lots of water like the rainforest, where it rains every day. Although if you look closely at his feet, he doesn't have flippers for swimming. So he likes an area that rains a lot, but that he doesn't have to climb into the water very often. Now, as he's moving around the rainforest, he wants to make sure that he stays nice and safe. So he's actually going to find shelter in some of the bushes and plants and even trees of the rainforest. That's going to help make sure that he is away from other animals that he might find dangerous or scary. As he's moving through these bushes and plants and trees, he's looking for food. Now, he does not want to eat fruits and veggies like the parrot, and he doesn't want to eat mice like the snake. This guy loves bugs.
Really?
Absolutely. He thinks they're super yummy. And so he's going to spend a lot of his time looking for yummy bugs to snack on. Alyssa, do you think we could make something like that for him here at the zoo?
I think we could. Do you have that number for 1-800? Is it Get Some Bugs or something like that? All right, because I think we're going to need that for our friends here at the zoo. So hold on. I think I might have some nice, tasty insects right here. Do you think that will be good? Will these suffice?
Oh, he's very excited. I think that looks great.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and let's get that in our friend's exhibit. Now, we need to talk a little bit about water. You said that my friend likes a lot of water, right?
He likes a lot of water around him, but he doesn't like to be in it because he's not a good swimmer.
Okay, well, fantastic. What if we took a bowl and we placed a little bit of filtered water in this bowl so that we create some humidity and that warm environment for our nice amphibian friend, but our friend won't get hurt because it's not too high.
That sounds great. Now, Alyssa, you said filtered water, which is a special kind of water. Why did you choose that?
Well, I was thinking, Miss Jessica, as I was doing some research, and the fact that they can actually take things in through their skin. And if we have anything in that water that might be harmful for our amphibian friend, we might want to get that out. What do you think? Is that a good, did I make a good observation and do my research?
You certainly did your research perfectly. Now, I like to tell people, Alyssa, that if you stuck out your tongue and I put my hand on your tongue, anything touching my hand will get onto your wet tongue and go into your body and can make you sick. The frog is the same way, except it's all of his skin that does that. So the fact that you're going to use special extra clean water in his enclosure means we can keep him even healthier.
That's really exciting. That's really exciting. Now, you mentioned living in the rainforest. So I was thinking of some special things to do with shelter.
Yes.
Maybe we create an environment where we have some leaves.
Perfect.
Maybe we have something that our friend can go into to kind of take some shelter. What do you think about that? Let me see what I have.
Great, yes.
I have some amphibian-friendly plants right here that we could put in the enclosure. Does this look good?
Awesome, it looks great.
What do you guys out there think? Do you like to hang out underneath some plants? I don't know, it sure makes some pretty good shelter if you were caught out in the rain. And how about this? What do you think? Is this going to be nice for our friend?
That looks great. It's nice
so.
and small, just his size.
All right. Now, you know, we talked bit about being social and having friends, and our parrot, liked hanging out with other parents and wanted friends. You want friends at home. But our Woma, our snake, our reptile really just kind of wanted to hang out by herself, So, when I was doing my research on our friends, I noticed that they kind of like to hang out with one another. So they're pretty social, right?
They are very social. They love to have friends around.
Okay, so let's move some friends in. Look at that. Right on there. They moved on in, and then I forgot. I was thinking, just like with our Woma, we have some warmth in there. We created an environment where our friend could be warm. How about with our dart frog, we actually put a lamp in here to create that warmth for our amphibian.
That sounds great. That's exactly what he's going to need, especially when winter comes, because he is not an animal that does well in really cold weather. I think he is absolutely thrilled. Can you see the smile on his face? He is jumping for joy, Alyssa.
It's that big! Hooray!
Perfect. Well, that's amazing. We were able to build exhibits for 3 very different animals here at the zoo, all giving them the 4 things they need. What were those 4 things again?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's wrap that up, shall we? The 4 things they need are food. They need food just like you and I do. And then they are living things and they need some water. Now they can drink that water, but they can also play in that water, right? Also, shelter. Where are they going to live? In that shelter to be safe from other predators and also safe from the environment if there's some rain, thunderstorms, tornadic activity, things like that. And last but certainly not least, their space. If it's a tiny animal, does it need a polar bear enclosure? Probably not, but it does need enough adequate space so it can move around and do what it would naturally do in the wild. And does it want a friend? Who knows? And if they do, we'll put one in there for them.
Well, that sounds perfect. It looks like we've both done a lot of research about our animals and found great ways to help them. Now, these aren't the only animals that live at the zoo, though. Like you said, there's polar bears, and there's kangaroos, and tigers, and birds, and insects. All sorts of animals that all have different needs and ways that they need to keep safe, happy, and healthy. And so when you come to visit us at the zoo, you'll be able to look at all of these exhibits, these special homes we built for these animals, and see what that animal needed and how we were able to give it to them.
Well, Miss Jessica, I think you bring up a good point. I know when I come to the zoo, and I really just like to go around and look at those animals and to know that they have enough space, to know that they're beautiful and they're thriving and they're happy and healthy. Not only does it make me happy, it makes me very proud of our zoo, and it makes me really want to go out and help this animal and do whatever I can for it.
Absolutely. Now, we have learned a lot today, but there might be some things that we missed. So if you have any questions, please send them in to us. But this is also something you yourself can do at home. Now, if you have any pets at home, you've probably built them all the things that they need, the food, the water, the shelter, and the proper space. Or it might be an animal that you're using your imagination. At home, you can draw a picture of a perfect habitat or enclosure or exhibit for an animal, that special home that they need. So maybe you pick your favorite animal that lives here at the zoo and draw it, or build it out of Legos, or some other creative way to do it. If you choose to do one of those things, send it in to us using the email we provide. We would love to be able to see those things and what you learned about those animals and how you are helping us keep those animals happy, healthy, and safe. So again, if you have questions, send them in. We would love to answer them today. We want to thank you so much for everything, and we hope to see you next time.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.